So you know something about the software industry, right? So what is development? What is how the code is getting developed, and see, not how the code is getting developed. Yes. So what is development, what is testing, and what is production? That's it. So these are all the three things which we are going to speak about more on this topics. Okay. So yeah. So this build and release is a subject. Okay, which speaks more about not a development or not a programming thing or a testing. Okay. So it's a bridge. Okay. It's going to be a bridge between a programmer, okay, or developer from the tester, test and production. See, let us speak about this. So there is an application, it's there. Okay, so I want anyone has to come out of mute. Actually, I want Manjuri to come out of mute and acknowledge my words, because yes, good, thank you.
Yes,
so
yes.
Fine. So can you tell any live example of a product which is in production? Let us say IRCTC, Indian Railway. I think both are Indians. Okay. So the better example is IRCTC. Okay. So IRCTC is the Indian Railway application. Fine. So can you tell me the cycle of this application? How it will start? Just tell me the high level picture. If you could able to think.
We have to tell you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So IRCTC application means, first, what is about the application? So I think Bharat Reddy is not aware of this IRCTC application. IRCTC application is an Indian Railway application, or let us say eBay. Okay. So are you aware of this eBay application? eBay.
No.
For booking the tickets and okay, schedule. Correct. So he is knowing about, okay. Bharat knows about IRCTC application. Okay. Let us say the cycle of this application is going to be, first the IRCTC application will be developed by the developers. Do you agree?
Yes.
And after that the application will be tested. Am I right?
Yes.
So after the testing is happening, okay, if you could not able to speak Manjari, that's okay. So don't get strained more. So
having fever too, so I can't. I'm not able to.
oh my God. Okay, fine. No issue. If you have any questions, just interrupt me and speak. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
Fine. Okay. Okay. No see, IRCTC application, the development needs to be done. Fine. So after the development, you have to test it. Fine. And once the testing is completed, it has to go in production. So this is the three major steps any application has to do, or any product in a software market has to do. Okay. So now, if you are a developer, okay, you have to develop a code either in Java or C or in C++ or .NET or whatever it is. Okay. So before that, you need to store your code. Every day you are going to do a development, and you have to store your code somewhere. So you need to have some container or some application or some tool to store your code in one place. Okay, that is called as a code repository. So now we are going to, in this subject, okay, we are going to speak about the code repository. Code repo or source code control management. So developer will do this code and store the code in a tool. So that tool information we are going to speak, or we are going to see. That is called as a most commonly used application is called as a subversion, so or SVN, subversion or SVN. Okay, we are going to speak about the code. Okay, boss. As a developer, I have developed the code and I have stored the code. Okay, so the basic work of the build and release is what we have to do. Code to production server. You have to put the code into the production server. That is the main goal of the build and release engineer or application server. Main application server. So anything is okay. But can I put this same code as it is in our application or production server, or can I give it to this client? No. It cannot be done. It has to be bundled. So it has to be bundled. Okay. So the build and release speaks about how the code is going to be maintained and how the code is going to be bundled in a package or in a box. Okay. How you are going to send this box to the production server. These three are the major, or it is not a major, it is only the goal of the build and release engineer. First, code maintenance. Okay. Second is going to be a code package. Third is going to be a code promotion to production. Okay. So these are all the three main things that we are going to tools responding to this. So subversion is a tool. To package the code, we are going to use the build tool. This technically, okay, till now I have spoken about in a layman term. Now I am going to speak in a build tool in the market is the very good tool is called Maven. So we are going to speak about Maven tool or a build tool. The code promotion platform or server. So most of the Unix or Linux to run their application. Yes, go ahead.
Actually, your voice is breaking. I can't hear anything from your side. So I can hear.
Okay, let me check.
After that, I haven't heard anything from you.
Okay. As you know, there is a big problem in Chennai due to the floods. Okay. So that's the reason the internet signals and everything is getting low. So maybe I can request you today. You please bear with me, and if you don't understand something, you repeat it. Yeah. So that's the reason. But that is the reason I am just putting in the words to you so that you will understand that in a better way. So that's
okay. Yeah.
That's the reason I am just typing and speaking. So that is what it will be more easy for you if I am not if you are not listening it. Sorry, if you are not able to hear it. Okay, yeah, that's a proper word. Fine. So fine. So now the code pack. So everything is done in the Unix and Linux platform. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to understand the Linux commands and basic configuration and little administration part as a build and release engineer. So you have to be sure in this. So this is a basics for build and release. Okay. So first you have to learn this Linux commands and the basic configuration and little administration, because there is something called UAT environment. UAT environment is going to be a testing environment. So before the code is going to be production, so the code is going to be tested in some environment. So that is called as a UAT. UAT is a user acceptance testing. So the UAT environments and prod environment. Okay. So these are all the two major environments. As a build and release engineer, you have to maintain it. So these environments will be in Linux only. And I said, right, this code package of this code has to go in production. How this will be going? Okay. So this will be going by using scripts.
Okay.
Automated scripts or a manual work. Automated scripts. So since it is in the platform of Linux, you need to learn a little shell scripting. So shell scripting. Okay. Shell scripting or Unix shell scripting or Linux shell scripting, both are same. Okay. Just a moment. Can you able to listen me, right? But can you able to hear me, right? Yes. Okay. Fine. But okay. Let us wait for organizer to share the screen so that we can start it. Okay. So in the meantime, let me speak. So this is our main goal, right? So we need to do some automation. So this. Okay. Before that, I will tell you a few words about how we are going to do this. So the code is taken from the code will be taken from your repository, and I said you are going to package it, right? So how the package is going to done is through a build tool. So that is what I told Maven. So Maven will do your packaging activity. So what kind of package it is going to be is a jar, var, or EAR. Manjari, as you are a MCA graduate, you should know this word called jar, var, or EAR. Am I right?
Actually, Sundar, I have been passed out in 2007. Okay. After that, I got married, and then I came to US. So it's like a long break for me. So you have to.
But jar, yeah. Just no. I will explain you what is jar and var or EAR. But if
I know those words, but
yeah, that's okay, fine. So jar and var or EAR are binaries. Okay. If example in Windows, you can say about exe. Okay, exe. If you know about exe, exe is a packaged one. If you just double click it, it is going to run. It is going to unpack the application and it is going to install your application on your machine. So same like exe, if you are speaking about the Sun Micro system, the output of the code is being converted into a different format, and that format is called a jar, var, and EAR. Okay. So those are all the different kinds of binaries. So the most of in the world, the output of the code is going to be a jar file. Okay. So this jar file will be deployed or will be copied to the other servers, application servers. So this is called as a deployment. Okay. Simply, if you okay, I will make my screen to be shared so that it is easy for you guys to understand. Just a minute. I am calling the organizer to make my screen shareable. Yeah, he is making it in a shareable mode. Okay. Now you can able to see my screen and I will explain you in a more better way. Okay, I have a code and I have to build my code. So code will be used by SVN. You will be checking out your code in a SVN. By using SVN, you will take your code, and after that, how to package it. Package by using a Maven tool is a build tool for you. And what is the output of this Maven build tool is going to be a .jar file or var file or EAR file. So this is our output. So our code, the first step is the code. That code is converted into this jar and var and EAR file by using two different tools. What is the tools is one for the code connected things you are going to use the Subversion tool, and the package connected things you are going to use the Maven tool. Okay, correct? Till now, did you understood, Manjari?
Yeah. Yeah, I understand.
Okay, so fine. And now code, SVN, package, Maven tool, and output is going to be jar, var, and EAR. Now my question is, we need to, now the next job is, we need to put this .jar file into a server. That server is going to be either application server or production server. Okay, so how to do this? By using so the platform is going to be a Unix platform here, Unix and Linux platform. So how to do this? By using some automation script. You need to understand this Linux commands. Okay, otherwise day-to-day activity in server will be done only with the commands, Linux commands. So at least anyway you cannot skip this Linux commands. So you need to understand this Linux commands, and nobody will be asking much in the automation, but you need to know this shell scripting to make the automation to be happened in your environment. Okay, so these are all the main things. The deployment is nothing but putting. So there will be one more terminology called deployments. Okay, what is this deployment? Is copying the jar file into servers and restarting the servers is called a deployment. That's it, in a very simple way. That's it. So how this deployment can be done? By using the shell script, or there is a tool to do this. It is called as Jenkins or contiguous integration tool. That's it. This is the build and release environment. If you need to understand this build and release environment, I will be telling in a simple word, code should be reformed into some bundle, and that bundle has to be transferred to some location. That location might be any server or prod server or application server. That is called build and release. This is a single line definition for build and release. How to do this? Code should be, we need to have some code control mechanism to manage our code. We need to have some build tool to make our code into the other form as a bundle. That can be any binary files. These are called as the binary files. Somebody will be using RPM, somebody will be using jar, somebody will be using var. So this binary files has to be put inside our application server. For that we need to use a automation shell script, or we can use any contiguous integration tool, okay, in the market. So the contiguous integration tool most commonly used is going to be a Jenkins. Okay, and what does this contiguous integration means? Continuously your product is going to be integrated. Okay, so this is what the English word meant by contiguous integration, and going forward I can teach you more on this, why this contiguous integration is important for this build and release. Okay, and before speaking, and for these things, you as a build and release engineer, you are supposed to maintain two different environments. One is going to be a production environment, other is going to be a UAT environment. But the operation, whatever you are going to do, is the same. You are going to bundle it, take the code, bundle it, and deploy it in the environment. For you, the environment is going to be same, anything, UAT or production. The work is same. But for the testers, it is going to be different. For the testers, it is going to be a UAT environment. For the users, it is going to be a production environment. That's it. So as a build and release engineer, you are supposed to maintain the code. You are supposed to maintain the build tool. You are supposed to maintain the contiguous integration process. You are supposed to maintain a few UAT servers and production servers and UAT environment. And you have to give some support to the UAT environment. If there is an issue with the environment or something is not working, some file system is full and you have to clean this. So these are all the different roles and activities that you have to do it. Mainly as a build and release engineer, you have to build it and deploy it in the servers. That's it. For doing this process, we have a lot of tools, and these are all the tools we are going to see in this session. And if you are good in this session, yes, if you are good in this tool, you can fetch the job outside. So this is one. And if you have further questions, you can ask me. And after that, I will just have my standard slides, demo slides, and I will go through it. Okay?
Okay. Can you tell me this? You wrote here, right? Code, SVN,
Yes.
package, maven tool, output.
Mm.
Can you explain me that once?
Okay. Yes. Code is going to be developed by the developed by the developer. Okay. Let us say it is going to be a Java code. Okay. So if you have a Java code, for example, 20 developers will be developing an application. And today they are going to develop an application. Okay. And tomorrow also they are going to develop an application. Like 1 week they are going to develop the application. So every day when they are developing a code, they have to save the code in some place. Am I right? Do you agree?
Yes. Yes.
So the place where the code is going to be saved and it is going to be retrieved, and commonly it is going to be used by whole world. Okay, so I am just telling in a very small scale, but think in a different scale. It is going to be 1,000 developers are going to access the same code in the different parts of the world, and they are going to do the same operation. Means we need to have some centralized repository, okay, to store the code. And for example, yeah, today 10 days, after 10 days, you are finding that the 10 days of development is not working. The changes what we had did is not working. So we need to go for the previous 10th day code. So how you will do it? So with this code repository, we can go back to the code also.
Okay.
So this is the importance of the code repository. And every company or every product, see, these are all mainly used with the product development companies. Okay. So service-based companies will not have this main build and release roles. Okay, actually they are working for the client, and always client will have this team. So they have to. This team is very important team, and they have access, and they are the persons who are going to control their product actually. They are going to make a decision when the product is going to be released and how the product is going to be released. Is it tested? Lot of just I am giving the high level picture. So if you are speaking more into it, you cannot just put the code like that into the production. So there is a lot of things. UAT testing is there, live like environment is there, staging environment is there, and regression testing is there, JBox testing is there, unit testing is there. So change management is there. So change management is a separate topic. If you need to put something on the production, you have to follow the change management process. So the change management process is a separate, and they have their own tools, and you have to get a lot of approvals, and checklist has to be followed. So like this, lot of things are there. Okay. So the change, now just to listen the high level picture so that you will not be getting confused. So that's the reason I just giving very high level view of this build and release to you. So technically these are all only things you have to learn. But process-wise, lot of things it differentiates from company to company. So once you go inside the company, you can understand the process. But the concept, yes, the basic concept you have to be very clear. So what is the code repository? To maintain the code of the developers, we are going to use the SVN. So that is called SVN or subversion. Subversion. Okay. It is called as subversion or SVN. So in a short term, it's called like Infosys and Infi. So it is like Infi and subversion, SVN and subversion. Okay. And this code cannot be just put it inside the application. Am I right?
Yes.
Will you give your code to your client? No, right?
No. Yeah.
You will be converting that code into some other format. Let us say in a very simple way, where Windows means exe. It is going to be a exe. What Microsoft is giving, if you want to install my Word, just they are giving the Word.exe. Am I right?
Yes.
And you double click it and it is getting installed. So like this, we need to package our code in a Microsoft terminology that is called as the exe. And Microsoft, they are doing in a different way actually. This build and release, the Microsoft guys, they are doing in a different way. Now we are not going to speak about the Microsoft. We are going to speak about only Sun Microsystems in this classes. Okay. So the Microsoft guys, they have the separate tools and it will be automatically managed almost by the developers itself. Okay. So now the separate role will be coming once the company is going using Java. Okay. So how subversion now, and how the package is going to be done, this package by using a Maven tool. There is a tool called Maven in the market and we are going to use the tool to do this job. Okay. So that is the tool. And you have the life cycle, and you have to know a little bit more about it, Maven. So then you will understand what is the output and all. Okay. So you understand what is the Maven, right?
Yes.
So Maven is just a build tool or packaging tool. Fine, that's it. And if you need to make this output jar or .var or EAR to the application server, you have to use application server is mainly, it is a Unix or Linux platform. Okay, so you know what is Unix and Linux, right? It's a separate operating system like Microsoft. Okay. So, okay, is it okay?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So, since you are going to speak about Unix and Linux, you need to know first the commands that you can use it. Okay. So in this course, we are going to speak about the Unix complete commands and the basic commands and the advanced commands, all those things. And you have a lot of few configurations in there. So we can see about the configuration and also the administration part. So administration is not more very complex. Like for example, if the disk file system is full, you have to see and you have to clean it. And the space is not there, you have to see it. And server load is more how to monitor the server load. So those type of things we will be discussing it. Okay. And deployment, yes. So deployment is nothing but this jar is going to be transferred to your production server. That activity is technically called as deployment. Okay. Fine. So that deployment will be done by using some companies will be using the automation script. Deployment is nothing. You are going to copy the jar into the server and restart the server. This can be done by using a small script, or this can be done by using a Jenkins also. Okay, so Jenkins is nothing but a GUI tool. It is a GUI tool. It is a GUI tool. Whether you can monitor all your projects and the jobs, and you can do the build. So all the activity which I have mentioned before, right? The 4 steps which I have said before, that can be done in a single tool. That is called as a Jenkins. That's it. Okay. So Jenkins can speak to SVN. Jenkins will speak to Maven. Jenkins will speak to Linux machine, and all the commands it will be triggered from Jenkins itself, and it will be done. Okay. Till now, is it clear? Manjari?
So,
okay, fine. Okay, fine. So, do you have any questions, Bharat? In this, up to this, do you have any questions? Okay, so Bharat will type and I will see. I have asked one above. Okay. As a build and release engineer, we should be a pro in Linux commands. Then what about the deployed application code? Deployed application code, yes, you can be proficient enough, but it depends on which code it is. It can be as a build and release engineer, it can be a Java code, or it can be a C code, or it can be a C++, or it can be a shell script, or it can be a Python. So in my opinion, you don't have to be very good in these things because you cannot be actually. So our job and our scope is to have the code in the whatever the code it is there in the SVN. If the architects are designed or the project is getting designed in such a way, you will take the code and you will do from that step, taking the code. From that step, your role will be starting. How? Okay. Is this a question? Did I understood your question correctly? Yeah. So you cannot be actually in this case. So it depends on which build you are going to do. If you are going to do some make build, so make build will be in the C. And if it is going to be a jar build, jar build is going to be in Java. So if you are good in that deployed application code, you can be a developer. You don't have to be a build and release engineer. But if you know about the code, it is well and good. And in this kind of guys are very difficult in market, and you cannot find those guys. Even I am not good in Java, but I am doing a Java builds, but I can understand the Java exceptions. That's it. So that is enough. Once you are seeing a log in the server logs, let us say I am using a web application and my application server is WebLogic. So if the most commonly what you will be going and seeing is you will be seeing the error logs in WebLogic. So most of the error logs will be a Java log since my code is in Java. So I will be searching for the word called exception and error. If it is like since I am an experienced guy, I could able to recollect some exceptions. If it is a kind of that exception, I will do this step in Java. So in that way I know, but in the code of the Java, I don't know about anything about Java. So this is the answer for your question. Okay. Is it fine? Are you convinced, Bharat? Okay, fine. Thank you. So let me try to show you some high-level picture how this is going to be work. So Manjuri, you are seeing my screen, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So now you see this is a pictorial representation how the high-level picture of this build and release works. So now the code repository is going to be subversion. So this subversion from this code repository, the build is going to happen with the Maven build tool. Once the build is happening with the jar and var and EAR, this is going to be applied in our application server. So this application server, this activity is called as a deployment. So this how this deployment is going to take care, we will be seeing later. This is the one way of deployment, and this is other way of deployment. So with the Jenkins tool, Jenkins is a continuous integration tool that we are using in the market. Okay. So with this tool also we can do the deployment. From this application server, user will be accessing this application server. So this is a high level picture of this course. That's it. So do you have any questions on this? Do you understand what is this build and release and what it does exactly?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Manjari, can you explain me what this build and release does? What you understand? Just speak for 1 or 2 minutes to me. Manjari, can you speak about this build and release, what you have understood till now?
Yeah. Sundar releases.
Okay. Sorry. You can take your time. You can explain me later. That's okay. Sorry. And Bharat, can you explain me in a chat? Bharat, I let you to understand what I let you to explain me what you have understood till now. Okay. That's it. Okay. So can you elaborate me how to do this with technically, like what are all the intermediate tools that we are getting used? No, I want for which purpose we are going to use it. Jenkins, Maven. Okay. For which purpose? Hmm? For bundling the files. No, okay. Let me tell you again in a precise Linux commands. Since the B and D platform is in Linux. Okay. Shell script to get automated. Okay. SVN code control. Maven to make a build. Shell script or Jenkins to deploy. Okay. Sorry. So these are all the main things and a little bit branching techniques. Branching technique. So I will teach you what is this branching techniques later, but it depends on the SVN. So we have to create a branch for the development release branch, development branch, so those things. So you will not, yes. Can you explain? Code control. Can you explain what is this? Code control is developer will save the code in SVN. From there, we have to access and all dev will access. Central place to store the product code. Okay. So there are a lot of things. So server part of SVN and client part. So both will be. So you can be. There is a separate role in the market called SVN admin. Okay. So you can also go as a SVN admin if you know this SVN administration well. So we in this course we will speak about more SVN administration and client part also. Client part is normal activity. So client any activity a normal activity like copy, remove the file, delete the file, okay, all are same, okay, and update the file, okay, add the file. So all these roles will come under the client part, okay. Anything, if you do any activity on this SVN, it will be coming under the client part, and we will also speak about both client and server part. So this is the just a brief introduction of SVN. If I say more, you will not understand it. So SVN code control, just it is used to maintain the code. That's it. So okay, got it, fine. So these are all the brief introduction about it. So if you have further questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, we can wind up the class, demo class. So Bharat, you have anything, or Manjari, you have anything to ask more?
No, actually, Sundar, I'm sorry,
Yes.
I'm not able to speak. That's the reason I cannot tell you about the build and release. So,
Okay.
next,
That's okay. I understood. That's no issue, no issue.
so till now, whatever you said, I understand everything.
Okay. So he is asking, DevOps and build and release is same. See, a DevOps engineer can also do the build and release work, and build and release engineer can also do the DevOps work. Okay. The tool, I would say it is both are same. Why it is same? Okay. Because DevOps is nothing but developer operating suite, supporting the developer. So supporting the developer in operation side is called a DevOps. Okay, so it depends on the which tool you are going to use. Okay, so some people in DevOps, yes, I would say there is a little difference, but there is not a big difference. It is like IT and CSC. Okay, do you think what is the difference between the graduation in IT and what is the differentiation with the CSC? Do you have, yes, do you have much? But answer is yes and no. You understand this now, Bharat? So this is what. So if you are going with the DevOps, it is like more like in a configuration way, and more in a automation way, something like that they will say, but it is not in a more automation way. It is like a configuration, more with the configurations. Like for example, you will be using Chef is a tool, and AWS is Amazon Web Services. Okay, so these are all the, and some guys will teach you Puppet. But if any Puppet or Chef, any one tool you have to know. So this is a different story with the build and release, I would say. But these are all the more again a configuration again. Okay, Bharat. If you have any further questions regarding the classes, or if you, okay, whatever it is, you can speak to, I think, Litsa, am I right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. You don't have to call me sir. I'm Sundar. That's enough. Okay. I'm Sundar. No sir. Okay. Fine. Bye bye, guys. See you, and have a good sleep. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Sundar. Thank you.
Bye.